This is a story about how I, Margaret, a woman who built a business from the ground up with her beloved late husband, had to take it all back from the very person I thought would carry on our legacy, my daughter-in-law, Amanda. It's a story of disrespect, betrayal, and ultimately, reclaiming what's rightfully yours. The smell of fresh banana bread usually brought a smile to my face, a sweet reminder of peaceful mornings. But that particular morning, as I walked into the hardware store, my hardware store, the one my husband and I had poured our lives into, the scent turned bitter. It was the morning Amanda, my daughter-in-law, looked me dead in the eye and spat. "This isn't a charity, Margaret. Go back to your little smelly kitchen and let the real people work." My own son, Jason, stood silently by, his gaze fixed on the floor. In that moment, a quiet fury, cold and resolute, began to simmer within me. They had no idea what they had just unleashed. My husband, Robert, and I started this hardware store from nothing. We built it brick by brick, nail by nail, with sweat, laughter, and an unwavering belief in honest work. Every creak of the floorboards, every dusty shelf, held a memory of our shared dream. When Robert passed, a piece of me went with him, but the store remained, a living testament to our love and labor. Jason, our son, had always been a good boy, if a bit naive. When he married Amanda, a woman with a sharp tongue and an even sharper ambition, I tried to be welcoming. I truly did. I stepped back from the daily grind, trusting them to manage the business, to nurture the legacy we had built. I still came in a few times a week, just to say hello, to offer a little help, to make sure everything was running smoothly. After all, it was still our family business, or so I thought. For months, I'd felt a subtle shift, a growing chill in the air whenever I visited the store. Little things at first, a new display that made no sense, inventory that seemed off, an unfamiliar face behind the counter. Amanda's once forced smiles had curdled into thinly veiled contempt. She'd dismiss my suggestions with a wave of her hand, muttering about old-fashioned ways and outdated ideas. Jason, bless his heart, seemed to shrink under her influence, his once cheerful demeanor replaced by a strained politeness. He'd avoid my gaze, especially when Amanda was within earshot. I'd try to talk to him, to ask if everything was all right, but he'd always reassure me, "Everything's fine, Mom. Amanda's just efficient." Efficient indeed. I started noticing odd discrepancies in the weekly sales reports I still received, courtesy of being a founder and principal owner. Small at first, then larger, like pebbles turning into stones in my gut. My intuition, honed over decades of running a business, screamed that something was wrong. The banana bread incident was the breaking point. It wasn't just the insult. It was the cold, calculated cruelty in Amanda's eyes. As I walked away from the counter, her words echoing in my ears, I felt a click, a switch flipping inside me. The gentle grandmother, the trusting mother-in-law, vanished. In her place, the shrewd businesswoman, the tenacious founder, re-emerged. I realized something crucial in that moment. While I had stepped back, I had never truly let go. My name was still on every founding document. I still held the primary business account. Every single bank statement still landed in my mailbox. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I meticulously combed through months of financial statements. And there it was, glaring back at me. Weekly withdrawals labeled Operations Float, always a round number, always without any corresponding receipts. Then, the invoices. Shell companies I'd never heard of, L&J Distribution, Bright West Marketing. My heart sank as the truth dawned on me. Amanda wasn't just mismanaging. She was bleeding the business dry. siphoning off funds through ghost vendors and possibly off-book sales. She was stealing from us, from Robert's legacy, from me. My hands trembled with a mixture of rage and profound sadness. The next morning, I drove to the bank. Martin, an old acquaintance, now managed the branch. He listened patiently as I laid out my suspicions. His expression shifted from professional courtesy to grave concern. With a few clicks, he confirmed my worst fears. A shadow account, opened under the business name, accessible only by Amanda. My suspicions were horrifyingly true. I then called Evelyn, a sharp-as-a-tack attorney I'd known for years. "Evelyn," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my soul. "I need to take back what's mine." The days that followed were a whirlwind of legal consultations, quiet planning, and a deep, gnawing pain in my chest. Each step I took, each document I signed, felt like a betrayal of my own son. How could Jason have allowed this? Was he complicit? Or merely blind? The thought of tearing down what Robert and I had built, even to save it, was agonizing. I wrestled with the guilt, the fear of hurting my son, the desire to protect him, even from himself. But then, Amanda's cruel words would echo in my mind. "This isn't a charity." She was right. It wasn't. It was our life's work. And I couldn't stand by and watch it be plundered. I had to choose my son's potential fleeting comfort or the enduring integrity of our family's legacy. The decision was agonizing, but clear. Dignity, I realized, is not something someone can take from you. It's a choice you make, to stand tall, even when your heart is breaking. The plan Evelyn and I devised was swift and surgical. First, the shadow account was frozen. Then, all operating capital from the primary business account was quietly transferred to a protected trust. An independent audit was formally demanded, and a discreet alert sent to the Tennessee Department of Revenue regarding potential tax discrepancies. Amanda's call came that afternoon, her voice shrill with panic and fury. "What have you done, you old hag?" she shrieked. I simply replied, "I'm cleaning house, Amanda. It's my company, not yours." The ensuing chaos at the store was immediate and predictable. Missed loan payments, delayed orders, suppliers demanding payment. The house of cards Amanda had built quickly collapsed. Jason, bewildered and pale, eventually appeared at my door, begging for help. He confessed they were ruined. I quietly retrieved the original business registration from my desk drawer. "This," I said, pointing to my name, "is where it all began, Jason. And this is where it will continue." I decided to sell the business. Not to just anyone, but to Fred B., an old rival from a competing hardware store. My conditions were simple. No family members, meaning Jason or Amanda, were to be hired, and the store's tagline had to change to "Back to Integrity." Fred, a man who respected honest business, agreed without hesitation. The transfer was completed swiftly. A clean break. Now my days are filled with the quiet joy of my garden, the warmth of the sun, and the comforting solitude of knowing I did what was right. News travels fast in a small town. The truth about Amanda's actions, and the quiet strength of my response, became public knowledge. I didn't need to gloat. The truth spoke for itself. Sometimes, the strongest stand you can take is in stillness, in the quiet reclaiming of your peace. What do you think about Margaret's decision? Have you ever had to fight for what's rightfully yours, even if it meant confronting family? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to hear more true stories from grandparents, make sure to subscribe to Grandparent Story for more tales of resilience, wisdom, and unexpected strength.